rock and roll. The Texans win it.
You've been called the Da Vinci of our time. What do you say to that?
Absolutely ridiculous. I don't paint.
That ball is history. A walk-off home run.
And it's going to be legendary.
James Pledger wraps your day with insight, opinion, plenty of sarcasm, and of course, your calls. He'll even pour a beer out the door for his favorite story of the day. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. Now, here's Pledge.
What's up, Danger? Can't stop me now.
Welcome into Extra Innings with Pledger right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. I am James Pledger. Thanks for joining me. However you may be joining me, whether that's on 94.1 on your FM dial, if you happen to be locked in at sasportstar.com via AA Best Bail Bonds audio player, or if you're watching live on YouTube, we stream all of our shows via the YouTube app. Just go to YouTube, search SA Sports Star. Go ahead, like, subscribe. You can also tweet at us or Instagram. Follow us all at SA Sports Star or me at I Am Pledger. Welcome into the show today. What a day. De'Aaron Fox about to make his debut for the San Antonio Spurs, and I cannot wait. It's going to be so much fun to actually break this down, what we see, how things happen, especially with the Hawks, struggling of late, but came up with a nice win the other night against the Pistons as Ice Trey put them on ice with the game-winning shot. Lots going on. We are officially out at Radio Row. AA Best Bail Bonds brings you our big game coverage out there in New Orleans all week long. Also brought to you by Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer, Circa Las Vegas, Smoky Moe's Barbecue, Synergenics Testosterone and Weight Loss, and Southern Recipe Pork Rinds. And it was a lot of fun today on the Blitz. A lot of great interviews if you missed any of them. Trey Wingo, Kyle Rudolph, Chris Johnson, Paige Sporaniak, which I'm trying to turn around the video to get it up there. But if you can't, you can always go back to the Blitz's live stream from today, an hour into the show, 3 o'clock. So just fast forward an hour. Paige Sporaniak live on the Blitz. Or as Albert Lopez says, Sandy Mounds. Yes, she definitely understands herself and the humor involved and has a great sense of humor about the whole thing. It was good stuff with Paige earlier today, but I thought one of their really, really insightful interviews was Chris Canty. He was a former Dallas Cowboys defensive lineman, won a Super Bowl with the Baltimore Ravens, and he is now the host of Unsportsmanlike on ESPN Radio from 6 to 10, along with Evan Cohen and Michelle Smallman, and does a great job and has a lot of great insights, especially on the Dallas Cowboys. I'll bring you some of that interview right now with Chris Canty, former Dallas Cowboy defensive lineman, live from Radio Row in New Orleans earlier today on the Blitz.
Welcome back to the Blitz here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix on Radio Row in New Orleans with Chris Canty. Chris, man, we were talking before we got started about Radio Row being a reunion for NFL players, but you're a radio guy now.
Yeah, so it's 2 reunions for me. Seeing all of these familiar faces from all of my different stops in my professional career, it's just it's been awesome, right? And to have it in a city like New Orleans that knows how to throw a party, they know how to do events right, but especially big sports events. I mean, it's just been an awesome time so far.
Chris, how you liking this radio thing?
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. I love the format of radio because it's intimate. It allows you to have conversations in depth. It's not as surfaced as television can be or linear platforms at a time. So you can really do a deep dive. And I love that about it. Plus, I love being a part of everybody's day. Like radio is one of those things that is just around a part of people's routines. And I love to have the opportunity to be that. So when people set that dial to Unsportsmanlike, just to have an opportunity to have the privilege to be able to help frame how they look at the sports world is pretty cool.
Now, Chris, you get into the media world, you're doing TV, middays, and now you got the morning show. Mm-hmm. That's brutal sometimes. I mean, how have you adjusted to the alarm going off in the middle of the night?
It's not as bad as you would think. I actually love the time slot. It's just that you got to make sure you get the nap at some point in the afternoon, right? So it's like, you do the show. My routine is I wake up at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. I do my prep, get ready for the show. We're on air at 6. And then after we get off air, I try to get my workout in right then, shower, take a nap, and then I'm able to reset and get back on track in terms of making sure that my sleep is good.
Can I take up for you for just a minute? Because a
What's
lot of
up?
times you say something on the radio and other national guys will criticize. Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
You said he was an elite quarterback.
I said he was a great quarterback.
Okay.
But I drew the line at elite with Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, and Josh Allen.
Well, you caught a lot of criticism for that, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand why.
I don't get it either.
Everybody can't be elite. It just doesn't make sense to me. I think that the way we judge elite players in our league, Super Bowl rings, MVPs, and all pros, and Joe Burrow ain't got none of that. His claim to fame is that once upon a time, 4 years ago, he beat Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. I'm sorry, that's not good enough to put you in the elite category. This is a guy that more times than not, his team has been on the outside looking into the postseason. That's not elite to me. So don't give me the empty calorie stats about Joe Burrow being elite. I'm sorry, I'm not buying it. Like, elite quarterbacks routinely have their teams competing and in the postseason trying to win championships, and Joe Burrow doesn't do that often enough. And then on top of that, I don't think he has the individual accolades or acknowledgments that we would hand out to elite players.
Interesting.
Chris Canty here on the Blitz, former Cowboy. I'm almost afraid to ask, then what do you think of Dak Prescott?
I think Dak Prescott is a good quarterback. Now, you're playing him elite quarterback money. Whether or not he can live up to that contract remains to be seen. But I tell you, Jerry just upped the degree of difficulty with the interruption that he had with Mike McCarthy and turning things over to Brian Schottenheimer. And for whatever people think about Brian Schottenheimer, I think it's fair to criticize the process that Jerry Jones went through in deciding to move off of McCarthy and then hire Brian Schottenheimer. It doesn't seem like he did an exhaustive search. It doesn't seem like he left no stone unturned. It seems like he panicked after Mike McCarthy said he did not want to sign up for whatever demands Jerry was going to have in order for them to continue their working relationship. He was caught flat-footed. There was no plan, and he went with Brian Schottenheimer. I don't know what that means for the Dallas Cowboys moving forward, but it doesn't feel like it's going to be a good thing.
It doesn't seem like it. And Jerry, I know Jerry was really upset with that Green Bay playoff loss, right? And he just seemed to be in shock for a year with the delay in signing Dak and then CD's issues that they had. The Cowboys just seem to be a mess right now. What's your take on it?
Yeah, I just don't understand why Jerry undermined the 2024 season before it even got started. He waited until the 11th hour to pay Dak and CD. If you pay those guys 4 months earlier, you've got tens of millions of dollars in cap to more to be able to fortify your roster. It just made no sense. And then on top of that, you undermine the head coach's ability to be able to backfill his staff because of Dan Quinn and several assistants leaving on the defensive side of the ball. So what are you forced to do? You're going out and getting a defensive coordinator, Mike Zimmer, who's familiar with your organization, but he was on the street. So by no means was he the best and the brightest defensive mind that you could have hired if your head coach had more job security. That's what happens when you let Mike McCarthy go in as a lame duck. Never mind the fact that the players don't respect his authority, but there's the opportunity cost of not being able to fill out the staff where you had Dan Quinn leave, where you had Joe Witt leave, where you had the other defensive coordinator in Seattle leave. Like you can't put your head coach in that situation where he can't find the best assistants to fortify his staff. And that's what Jerry did by allowing Mike McCarthy to be a lame duck. So, yeah, you can't absolve Mike McCarthy of blame, but Jerry Jones cut the legs out of the 24 season before it even got started.
You know, I've said many times on this show through the offseason and during the season, for whatever reason, this year wasn't about winning for the Dallas Cowboys. The idea, because of the way they went about their roster construction, it wasn't about winning. Maybe they thought those young players could get back to the playoffs, but it wasn't about winning. But at Jerry's age, how does he waste a year?
Jay, I struggle with saying it's not about winning when you pay the quarterback $60 million a year. I struggle to say it's not about winning when you pay a wide receiver $34 million a year. It's got to be about winning when you dole out those type of contracts. Otherwise, what's the point of the exercise? It just makes no sense. It's got to be about winning. And the fact that Jerry overvalued some of his homegrown talent and he undersold the importance of the head coach being empowered in order to create the kind of culture that you need to win championships, I think it's one of those things that gives you some pause for what the Dallas Cowboys have in store for the near future. I don't see how anything changes from a culture standpoint from what we saw in Mike McCarthy to what we now see with Brian Schottenheimer.
Well, Chris, when you're talking about those contracts and Dak and CD, and now it looks like Micah Parsons going to get a pretty big bag as well. What do the Cowboys do to improve? Can they, with all of that money on the books, and I know Dak's a big hit this year, how do you bring in talent?
Well, I think you have to hit on your draft picks. Now, I can't believe the Cowboys did this at the trade deadline. They traded a mid-round draft pick for Jonathan Mingo.
Yeah.
What? I'm sorry, what?
Well, the year before
and then
they
traded a
Lance.
mid-round draft pick for Trey Lance. Like,
yes.
You're giving away these mid-round draft picks like they're fun coupons. And these are ways that you build your team. Like Dak Prescott once upon a time was a fourth-round draft pick. Like these are good players. I was a fourth-round draft pick and started for over a decade in this league. Like Marion Barber was a fourth-round draft pick. You find good talent in those middle rounds. And for Jerry to just give away these picks for these guys that are cast-offs when you have one of the best talent evaluators in the game in Will McClay, I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I don't get it. There is no rhyme or reason to how Jerry Jones goes about his business. And to me, guys, it's all in an effort to chase after the credit that eluded him post Jimmy Johnson. It has been a 3 decades long quest to chase after this credit that he never got when Jimmy Johnson was his head coach. And I just don't understand why Jerry can't check his ego at the door and allow the football people that he's hired to be empowered to make sound football decisions.
You mentioned Chris Canty getting drafted by the Cowboys, but you had to go somewhere else to get your Super Bowl ring, which anybody in the last 30 years that wore the star had to go do that, right?
Yeah, DeMarcus Ware had to go do it, so.
I mean, it's insane. And so when you get together with former Cowboy teammates, are you talking about the good, the bad, or you're saying what is Jerry doing?
The last part. That part. Like, so Jay Ratliff is one of my really good friends. He was a groomsman in my wedding. That's my dog. Now, he was a 7th-round draft pick in the 2005 draft class, and that was a hell of a draft class. I mean, you had DeMarcus Ware, Marcus Spears, Kevin Burnett, Marion Barber, Rob Petiti. You had Justin Barrio, and you had Jay Ratliff. Hell of a draft class. And we talk about it all the time. What the hell is Jerry Jones doing? Why is he getting in the way of good football people making sound football decisions? Now, it's hard to say he's doing it wrong when you take a $150 million investment and turn it into $10 billion business. It's hard to say you're doing it wrong. But when it comes to trying to win football games, I don't understand the rhyme or the reason behind the things that he does and the things that he says. He undermines his team winning on the football field. Now, maybe that leads to him winning more at the bottom line, sensationalize the Cowboys, stir in the pot. He talked about that a little bit before he got the Dak deal done. He likes to do that. But I don't think he recognizes the impact that his words have on building the kind of culture that it takes to win. Franchises that have sustained success, that compete for championships year over year, it's usually quiet when they go about their business. It just is. And the Dallas Cowboys couldn't be any further from that.
That was Chris Canty of Unsportsmanlike and former Dallas Cowboy joining the Blitz earlier today, live from Radio Row there in New Orleans. And I thought that was interesting right there, what he said about Jerry still chasing the credit that he never got from when the wins with Jimmy Johnson, and then finishing it off with that right there. And then I hear Clarence Hill of All City Dallas up there, formerly of the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, talking to former Dallas Cowboy Peyton Hendershot.
I would say just, it's just about football when you get in there, and they just have such a good culture set of like every day they attack the day as it's the same. They don't look forward to tomorrow. We never really once talked about the Super Bowl. It's just about coming out today and getting better today. If we keep doing that over the course of the season, we'll be where we want to be.
You're talking about the culture, all the things, the tours and the camps in California. Kansas City is all football. You don't have that sort of thing?
I mean, I'm not going to throw no strays or nothing, but yeah, like it just when you get here, it's just a football. It's football, so it's not that Dallas isn't, but just when I got here, I could really just feel that everybody was here to win. And that's all it was about winning.
So comparing the culture Kansas City to Dallas, and we heard certain things from Dalton Schultz before he left the Cowboys. All of these people talking about similar things when it comes to championship programs versus what the Dallas Cowboys are. And it's just an interesting thread that I seem to have found from when I heard that with Peyton Hendershot, and then when I heard Chris Canty say it in that interview, and I've heard other previous Cowboys talk about it after they leave the building about what it's like in other locker rooms versus the Dallas Cowboys and how you can just focus on the football. And I find that very, very intriguing. Like I've said for a long time, winning starts at the top, and the culture starts at the top, and that starts with ownership. And you'll notice the teams under some of the best ownership, a lot of the times have some of the best success. And the Dallas Cowboys, until Jerry Jones can quit worrying so much about selling the team, or at least find a way to insulate what he does versus what the team does and separate those two things, I don't know if the Dallas Cowboys will be competing for a championship anytime soon. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. I am James Pledger right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. When we come back, Morning Huddle. They got in on the Fox deal a little bit earlier this morning and what it could potentially mean for the future of the San Antonio Spurs. We'll break it down as we come back here on Extra Innings with Pledger on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1.
My name is Jessica. Years ago, I was diagnosed with a thyroid condition. I slept all the time, was fatigued, had no energy, and a bad attitude. Now I've lost 50 pounds and I'm still losing. My medications have been scaled back, my emotions are stable, and I have lots of energy. People at work say I'm happy, perky, and my husband says he's not walking on eggshells around me any longer. The Institute for Functional Health changed my life.
Call for your complimentary consultation, 210-468-1891. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health.
On Super Sunday, you can be the crunch time hero. PorkRinds.com is bringing you a game-changing twist to your big day because it's also Pork Rind Appreciation Day. The crispy, crunchy, crave-worthy snack you love deserves its moment. PorkRinds.com is celebrating by giving you a chance to win tickets to the 2026 big game in Santa Clara. Enter at PorkRinds.com and become your own crunch time hero. This Super Sunday, make sure your snack game is on point. Celebrate Pork Rind Appreciation Day. Get in on the action at PorkRinds.com.
From a fender bender to a total loss, Davis Law Firm has a team of expert attorneys ready to get you back on the road with the verdict or settlement you deserve. Y hablamos español. Want more? Call the Fours. Davis Law Firm, San Antonio, 444-4444.
Order for Jennifer C. Is this my double shot, double cream, double froth, double pump, double whip, double sleeve? Yeah. Can you handle that much caffeine?
Did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, really? That's great.
Seriously, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, you just said that.
Did you say I just said that?
Yeah, I'm cutting you off.
I can't have any more? Why not?
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/credit card.
Hi, welcome to Staples. Hi, I hear Staples can print it all for my business. Oh, if you can think it, Staples can print it and will beat any print quote. Oh, great. I'm thinking new brochures and yard signs. No problem. I'm thinking calendars, t-shirts, and pens. Totally. I'm thinking Staples is the place for printing. I thought you might think that.
Right now at Staples, get up to $250 off your print purchase. Hence 4-5 exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for offer details. Price match guarantee valid in store and staples.com/print. Visit staples.com/price match for details.
Jackson Hewitt makes taxes feel like a yacht rock song.
April breeze, give me my biggest tax refund, please. You, me, and a lifetime accuracy. privacy guarantee.
And now get $100 just to try Jackson Hewitt. Does your tax person do that?
Say goodbye to that no guarantee tax guy.
Ready to sail through tax season? Go to Jackson Hewitt and you'll be
Reeling in the refunds.
limited time offer for new clients. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest. The last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
Designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay. Things people love.
Hey, it's James Pledger. Have you played Pick 6 from DraftKings? Well, you better get on it. It's Super Bowl 59, the last time to play NFL Pick 6 this season. As the official daily fantasy sports partner of the NFL, DraftKings does fantasy sports like nobody else. Play for better payouts on Pick 6. It's super easy to get started. Just select 2 or more players, choose if they'll have more or less of a stat, like touchdowns, yardage, sacks, and more. And DraftKings is making it even sweeter for first-timers. New Pick 6 customers play $5 to get $59 in Pick 6 credits. Win more cash on Pick 6. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app and use code KTFM. That's code KTFM for new customers to play $5 and get $59 in Pick 6 credits. Only on DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus award is non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
My son loves to fly kites, but my active psoriatic arthritis can sometimes hold me back. Now with Skyrizi to treat my skin and joints, I'm ready to go. Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults, helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi today and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
Order for Jennifer C.
Is this my double shot, double cream, double froth, double pump, double whip, double sleeve?
Yeah. Can you handle that much caffeine?
Did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, really? That's great.
Seriously, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, you just said that.
Did you say I just said that?
Yeah, I'm cutting you off.
I can't have any more? Why not?
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/credit.
It's Extra Innings with Pledger on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pledger right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. I am James Pledger. Appreciate y'all riding along with me as I take you up to 7 o'clock here tonight. Early in the game, San Antonio leads 22-18, 6 minutes left in the first quarter. Chris Paul and De'Aaron Fox in the starting lineup together here in this first iteration of the new look San Antonio Spurs, as we got Wemby, Barnes, Vassell, Fox, and Paul getting their first run together. And I don't know if you listen to me talking about the differences in what the starting lineup could look like, I kept saying Chris Paul. I believe promises were made. And also, as De'Aaron Fox learns this system, learns this offense, I believe that he is going to be stacked there. And now Stephon Castle will be coming off the bench, at least for the foreseeable future for the San Antonio Spurs. He is now checked into the game and is there, but it's going to be very interesting to kind of see how they tinker with these lineups moving forward. But some early offensive potency from the San Antonio Spurs, who already have 22 points through the first 5-6 minutes of this ball game. And it's going to be interesting to kind of see how things go, because the morning huddle this morning with AJ and Rob, we're talking about De'Aaron Fox and what he potentially could mean for the San Antonio Spurs as they move forward.
Literally, as a Spurs fan, there are certain things that happened over my lifetime that I go, I cannot wait for today. And this is one of those days. We're beginning another chapter. It's not a new book. The new book started when Wemby arrived, but we're starting the second chapter and what we hope will be a 5-chapter toward a title kind of thing. And we've successfully negotiated this first bit remarkably well. If you'd have told me a year and a half ago that the Spurs would manage to draft Wemby, to hold on to their marginal talent and Devin and Keldon, and then to bring in De'Aaron Fox and still maintain all of these draft picks, I would have applauded and say, carry on, my brothers. You're doing it right. I don't even care what the record is. So it begins tonight. So it's hard for me to focus on even that big thing going on Sunday. It really is, because this is it's going to start with like a soft opening to a restaurant. De'Aaron's going to miss layups and he's going to miss assignments, and it might not be a win, but it is the first page and what I expect to be a pretty remarkable time with the Spurs.
Well, let's hope so. Let's hope that it all, on paper, it looks cool.
It does.
We'll see what happens when it's put into practice. Mm-hmm. That's always the
Kawhi looked good too, didn't he?
Yeah.
It looks good on paper, and early returns looks pretty good on the court. Now, the one thing I will say when it comes to De'Aaron Fox is he gives the Spurs something that they have sorely lacked, which is some go-to instant offense that you can tell they miss at times during stretches of certain games, whether it's the Heat game, the Grizzlies game, that they're in games and then they go through these prolonged dry spells. And earlier today at shoot around, De'Aaron Fox was talking about how he can help with that offensive sluggishness.
I think, especially, not losing a rotational piece, I feel like we could be much better. Even watching that last Memphis game, someone texted me while watching the game, was like, this is kind of what we missed, going through like those dry spells offensively, and just adding another guy who can put the ball in the basket, who can get downhill and create for others. I feel like will help with that.
And he does that. That is one thing that he will absolutely help with right off the rip, despite them still not quite having the floor spacing or the big, especially now that Bassey is injured and out for who knows how long at this point. Jonas Valanciunas traded from the Wizards, ends up going to the Sacramento Kings in exchange for City Sissoko of all people. So there's that backup big that the Spurs could have been chasing, maybe should have been chasing, but whether it's Nikola Vucevic or Robert Williams or Mo Bamba, who's a free agent, whoever it may be, the Spurs are going to need some help on the front line in the front court at some point between now and the end of the season. And the NBA trade deadline is now less than 24 hours away, as it is tomorrow at 3:00. So it's going to be very interesting to see, as things have gone quiet now that we have De'Aaron Fox, is there going to be another move in the books for them? It's going to be very interesting to kind of figure it out and see what they come together with. But we've got more coming up here on Extra Innings with Pleasure on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Plus your phone calls, 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. If you want to get in on it, if you want to talk about De'Aaron Fox and what you're seeing so far and what you expect from this team moving forward. I still think it's a couple of pieces away from competing, but they got one of the bigger pieces that they needed, which was a secondary playmaker in De'Aaron Fox, and that's going to go a long way. This is Extra Innings with Pleasure. I am James Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star. You can follow the station at SA Sports Star. Give us a like on YouTube. Go to SA Sports Star on YouTube. Go ahead, like, subscribe. You can follow along. You can comment along in the comments right there as JE says, what's up? What's going on? And 1991 Freedom Ride says Mahomes represents Texas Tech extremely well, pulling for the Chiefs. That's right. We do got the big game coming up this weekend. And remember, San Antonio Sports Star is your home for the NFL, including the big game this Sunday between the Chiefs and Eagles is brought to you by Fight by Yingling. But we've got more on Fox coming up right here on San Antonio Sports Star 94.1 ESPN.
94.1 FM, San Antonio Sports Star.
Do you ever scroll through social media only to find yourself bombarded by bad news, hot takes, picture-perfect families, and yet another humbling professional update? It's hard not to get wrapped up in how everyone else is doing, but imagine how you would feel if you spent 45 minutes focused on how you are doing. At Cerebral, they make it easier than ever to access dedicated therapists and doctor-prescribed medication personalized to you. The best part, Cerebral offers in-network care so you can focus on feeling better without worrying about the cost. In fact, 72% of people say they felt better in just 12 weeks. Cerebral makes mental health care easy, accessible, and more affordable. Cerebral is proud to be an official sponsor of the San Antonio Spurs, and just like athletes prioritize their physical health, mental health is just as important. And Cerebral is here to help you build a strong foundation on your overall well-being. Take that first step today. Go to Cerebral.com to see how affordable and accessible mental health care can be with insurance. Cerebral, make time for Mind Time.
George gets justice. At George Salinas Injury Lawyers, we are the ones you can trust. With over 100 years of combined experience, we are committed to helping people in our local community. Get George Salinas Injury Lawyers and put our experience to work for you and your case. Call George Salinas Injury Lawyers today at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com.
George gets justice. GetGeorge.com.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-505-9603, 800-505-9603, 800-505-9603.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Hey, Mom, I've been meaning to talk to you about some new COVID information I saw online. I read that Black folks like us with certain conditions like diabetes, heart disease, mental health conditions, or being 50 and older, like you, are at high risk.
Boy, you sound like a commercial.
I'm just saying. I know you love your ginger teas and essential oils, but remember, there are treatment options for COVID-19.
I promise if I get sick again, I'll call my doctor to ask about my options. Visit WeTalkWeRise.com to learn more. Brought to you by Pfizer.
Jackson Hewitt makes taxes feel like a yacht rock song.
Oh, please, give me my biggest tax refund, please. You, me, and a lifetime accuracy guarantee.
And now get $100 just to try Jackson Hewitt. Does your tax person do that?
Say goodbye to that no guarantee tax guy.
Ready to sail through tax season? Go to Jackson Hewitt and you'll be
Breathing in the refund.
limited time offer for new clients. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check the propane tank on your grill first before hosting a tailgate.
Let's fire up. Here, let me try. Seriously? You didn't check the propane? Who wants chips?
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
Salt and vinegar?
You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Looking to sculpt, tighten, or refresh? Dr. Connie Hires Plastic Surgery and Med Spa does it all. Awake lipo, tummy tucks, fat reduction, microneedling, and more.
Thinking about implants for your wife? Dr. Hires specializes in breast augmentation for women and reductions for both men and women. Get the results you want with expert care. Call 210-494-8446 or go to findyourbeautiful.com to start your transformation today. Use code word BLITZ for exclusive discounts.
The Aggies play here. This is Andrew Monaco, and you're listening to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. Steph Castle's putting on a show right now, just threw down one of the nastier dunks that I've seen. And earlier, as we were going to break, had this great look cross court to find Champagny in the corner for an open three right now. Spurs currently lead by 10, 35-25. That's right, 35 points scored in the first quarter, and there is still 47.7 seconds left. So at least the start to the De'Aaron Fox era is off to a very good start. But what say you? 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Drew, what's going on, my man? Welcome into Extra Innings with Pleasure. Mm-hmm. With yep.
Team Hawks tank, and I'm happy with the result right now. But in an ideal world, we're at number 6 and the Hawks at number 7, or we're at number 7 and the Hawks at number 6. Either way, I wouldn't be happy with that, because the reason is we have a lot of things that still need to get done. We don't want to fumble the ball. We got Fox, but we need to secure his deal. We have to sign an extension. To do that, we need some cap space. To do that, Keldon or Vassell needs to go. And it's not going to be it might be heartfelt or trouble for some of your fans there. They're nice guys, but we need that money for part of the big three. I want everybody to focus that. In addition to that, when you're driving around, you get a flat tire and you're like trying to get to work, and then like a month later, you're still driving on the donut, but you don't really know it. You hit a bump.
Yep.
That's exactly what Mitch is. He's a donut. And we're going to see him game after game. We need a new coach, too. There's a lot of things that need to get done.
Well, remember, he is an interim coach.
Yes, he's an interim coach. And our tire's blown out. Apparently, it's at the shop. It's getting fixed. But he's not. You don't want to put a bad tire on this, a bald tire.
Well, he's an interim coach because there's another coach returning.
Sure. You're going to put a bald tire on this Ferrari. You want to put a bald, worn-out tire. Is that your solution? You think that's the most wisest thing to do moving forward?
So you think the game's passed pop by then?
Everybody knows the game is passed by. Right now, on this game, the league has drained all our best coaches. In a perfect world, Udoka would be this coach. We've had 2 shots at getting Udoka here for whatever reason. Ego, whatever you want to call it, he's not here. We couldn't gotten Becky. For right now, the coach in Atlanta, he's better coach than the coach we got right now. He was our guy a development guy up there in Austin for years. Mm-hmm. He went off to Utah. He did great things there. Yeah. So that's what we are. This guy Mitch ain't it. He's a donut. And Pop coming back, as great as you think he was, he's a bald tire, and he already blew out. I don't know why you would, on a personal level, want a man to come back and get the most stressful job he can get after he's in his 70s and has had a stroke. There's dire consequences to pushing that bald tire back on the car, and you want to see it happen in front of your faces or something? You're some kind of like weird fetish? No, we shouldn't want that for him. He's already got his flowers. He just got to the Hall of Fame. There's nothing left for him to do.
Now,
we need a new coach.
Devil's advocate, Drew, because I look at Greg Popovich and I understand the falling out of favor in recent years with Pop. But to be fair, Pop, since LaMarcus and DeMar DeRozan and others have left, the cupboard has been dry. He's never gotten a chance to work with this kind of lineup. And we understand how bad this lineup has been to know that even Wemby wasn't enough to elevate it, despite
we're right here. I don't know if you're
historic
close to the
rookie
medical
season
center anymore. I don't know if you're close to the medical center anymore, but anybody who has any kind of medical background within the sound of my voice knows that a 77-year-old patient who's had any kind of stroke has a lot of impairments. One of the chief impairments is an aphasia. We don't know anything about this because of HIPAA. There's just realities to that. That guy, unfortunately, Father Time is taking things away, and now this is taking things away. And I'm using the bald tire metaphor. Maybe it's a little crass, but it's apropos.
So Mitch is
it's
the
a
donut
tire that's
pops
been worn
above
out.
tire.
Dude, why don't you get that? You think that a man who had in his 70s, who had a stroke, is going to come back and be the man he was when he was in his 60s?
I'm just playing devil's advocate and looking at the other side of things. I like to look at things from every angle before I come to a conclusion on anything. And I like to make sure that everybody else has looked at it from every angle before they come to a decision on something. I too think they should probably get a new coach.
Go to your medical books and look up what the symptoms are of a stroke. There's a young actress out there, okay? She was on Parks and Recreation. I've heard her name. She had a stroke when she's 20 years old. There's a mild stroke, and she still says she suffers medical problems because of it to this day. Aubrey Plaza. You just don't make the same kind of decisions you were making before.
And yet I can argue she's a better actor now than she was on Parks and Rec.
All right, let's have Pop do some improv then. We can't have him coaching the big three.
Look, I get it. I'm not the person to take away the carrot that may be aiding Pop's recovery. And I'm not the person who has seen his recovery or anything else to know exactly where he is or where his faculties is. To be fair, none of us have. And until you see the results of something, it's very difficult.
Yeah, there's a possibility the 99.99%, there's that point, whatever that is at the end, that he's the one guy in a billion who's going to be walking around like this guy. He's like Superman. We can all grab on that. But you know what? I don't believe in Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny.
So
okay,
there's
only one God, the one Jesus Christ Almighty, and he ain't him.
I get it, Drew, but are you saying the Texans should cut Tank Dell right this second then?
How do we get to the Texans now?
Well, I'm just asking because he's a person that's suffered a horrific injury that not a lot of athletes have come back from the same way. Should we not give him the opportunity?
Hey, you know what? If it were me, you're doing what's a false equivalency, and I'm not really gonna. I don't believe the premise of your question.
Okay, I'm just asking because you're asking us to move on from somebody that
I'm asking you to face the reality of the situation.
We know nothing about the situation. We literally know nothing other than
No. You know how old he is, and you know he had a stroke.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you need to know. You don't say you don't know nothing. You know how old he is.
Yes.
And you know he had a stroke.
Don't know this.
And everybody out there with the reach my voice knows.
We don't know the severity of it. And I appreciate the phone call, Drew. And it's tough to have a conversation with you sometimes because you will power over. I'm just saying, does he not deserve a shot? Does he not deserve the last month of the season to see if he's still got it or if he wants to see himself if he's still got it. You're talking about, final month, 2 of the season, just to see if the rehab goes right, if everything works, if he actually can return to what he's doing. And you're talking about not even affording him the opportunity, which I don't believe in not affording someone the opportunity if they are working their way back from something and they are under contract to give them that opportunity that they need. Same goes for Tank Dell and his injury. Same goes for any player, coach, whatever. The opportunity to return should at least be on the table. Now, whether you can hack it or not, once you get back, that's a different story. And in a season like this, where the Spurs are 21-26 and 12th in the Western Conference, what does the last month of the season, if he clears all his hurdles and recovery, do in the long-term picture to decide if he even wants to, can, or has the ability to anymore? Does that prohibit the process in any way of what's going to take place this offseason? I'll bring you back on, Drew, so you can answer.
I'm just going to stand fast with the medical history and anybody in my voice knowing that there is no equivalency to a blown knee and having a blood vessel in your head explode at the age of 77 and getting back. One is a muscular thing, and one is basically your computer. So I'm saying, and I never said that he shouldn't have the opportunity to work back. I specifically said this summer after the draft, somebody needs to go to him and say, we need to move on. We need to pick a coach.
But what if Pop returns?
Now, if you want to move it,
over that final month, and the Spurs go something ridiculous like
8-1
down the stretch?
I will Venmo you $500 if he returns in that final month.
No, I'm just saying if he returns and they
if he comes back, I'm so confident. I will Venmo you $500 if he comes back in a month or 2 months.
2 months.
Whatever, before the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
If he has to come back and say, I'm going to be the coach, and if he comes back and says, I'm resigning as the head coach, thank you.
He very well may.
That's
We're getting into an area that we don't know the future. We know he's working towards it. We don't know if he actually will or not. So
yeah, I'll tell you the future. I know. My grandfather was 77 years old when he had a stroke. It was a mild stroke. And he spent the rest of his days not the same person. And everybody in this, strokes are commonplace. Everybody who knows. And if you don't know, you don't know. And we weren't going to be cruel to my grandfather over his stroke or his ailments or whatever he did. We all made assurances for it, and he was taken care of. But he wasn't in charge of $1 billion franchise, which has a fiduciary responsibility to the public, which they're about to ask you guys out there for $9 billion to put up a new stadium.
I believe it was 1.1
so sure,
billion.
We can play this thing, and Charlie can get his ticket, and he can go to the chocolate factory. We can go that route.
I appreciate the phone call, Drew. Look, there's a lot that needs to happen for him to even come back at this point. All I know is he's working back towards it. And if he gets to that spot, he deserves the opportunity to decide whether he wants to continue or not. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. I am James Pledger here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM and SASportsStar.com.
Hey guys, Jason Minix here from The Blitz. Does it feel like you're lacking energy, always moody, or you know your libido isn't what it used to be? It could be caused by low testosterone. Go get tested. I recommend the providers at Synergenics Testosterone and Weight Loss. Their personalized TRT goes beyond standard treatments. They also have affordable GLP-1 weight loss options. And for current patients, Synergenics offers a $150 referral credit. Get started. Book your appointment at synergenicshealth.com. SYNERGENX health.com.
When your business needs an electrician, for over 35 years, the family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio. Powered by relationships with dedicated estimators who analyze the issue, research cost-effective solutions, and clearly communicate the options without charging you a dime. A proven process that allows you to continue focusing on your unique purpose. Call Hill Electric at 210-404-9074. That's 404-9074. Or hill-electric.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part? They accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right. So we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Hi, welcome to Staples. Hi, I hear Staples can print it all for my business. Oh, if you can think it, Staples can print it and will beat any print quote. Oh, great. I'm thinking new brochures and yard signs. No problem. I'm thinking calendars, t-shirts, and pens. Totally. I'm thinking Staples is the place for printing. I thought you might think that.
Right now at Staples, get up to $250 off your print purchase. Ends 4/5 exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for offer details. Price match guarantee valid in store and staples.com/print. Visit staples.com/price match for details.
Do I choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. And now save 50% on the new Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Plus free home delivery when you add a base. Ends Monday. Exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you get coverage options based on how much you want to pay for car insurance. And then you decide how to spend the rest of your money because you're in charge. And right now, you're going to pay for groceries. But you decide what groceries. Just keep in mind you're running out of dishwashing soap. But you decide if you're going to buy that soap. It's just those dishes won't clean themselves, will they? Remember, with Progressive's Name Your Price tool, we'll help you find coverage at a fair price. And then you're in charge. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
What's up, football fans? Are you excited for the big game and ready to get in on the action? Look no further than the BetMGM Sportsbook app. Sign up using bonus code KOSTOS, KOSTOS, to get up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your first bet loses. Be sure to lock in your picks on this year's big game in New Orleans with the Sportsbook born in Vegas. Earn MGM rewards points from your bets, take advantage of offers found nowhere else, and look out for surprise rewards dropping in your account all year. There's no better place to enjoy the big game than BetMGM. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 years of age and older. This specific promotional offer is not available in Mississippi, New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. For New York, 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. For Arizona, 1-800-NEXT-STEP. For Massachusetts, 1-800-327-5050. For Iowa, 1-800-BETS-OFF. For Puerto Rico, 1-800-981-0023. First bet offer for new customers only. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. Gilbert P. says, as for a future head coach, my basketball coach has told me that Kidd can no longer trust the Mavs not to do to him what they did to Luka. Look, I love Jason Kidd. If he wants to come down south, more power to him. That would be a great addition. I love Jason Kidd as a head coach. I think he's a phenomenal mind, former point guard, great point guard, Hall of Fame point guard probably. And I think he would be a great addition to the San Antonio Spurs to help lead them into the future. That being said, there are certain things that we have to keep in mind because Drew did say, the offseason's coming and you got to build around Wemby and et cetera, et cetera. That's all true. But remember, they don't have a whole ton of money. There's a lot tied up right now, or not much tied up right now, but there will be some money available to them, but they've got to kind of earmark that money. In 6 months, they got to give De'Aaron Fox an extension, $229. It's a lot of money. After that, the next year, Wemby's contract, he's eligible for his first max contract, the rookie max. You're going to have to pay him. The year after that is Castle. I guarantee he's probably going to make an All-NBA rookie team this year on defense, maybe even offense. And that's going to be another rookie max that you'll probably have to pay out in 2 years. So the amount of money that is going out doesn't leave a lot of wiggle room to bring people that are of high contracts in. So you have to start looking at guys like Keldon, Devin, and others and find out which ones are actually a part of the long-term future and which ones are just money you're going to have to move off your books at some point. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. I am James Pledger. I appreciate all of y'all for rolling with me tonight. Remember, call your loved ones, check on them. You never know what people are going through in life. And as always, we will see you tomorrow right here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1. Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience.